caught us. We are live. We are after it right now. This is the broadcast. I am Greg Brockhouse. It is awesome to be back with you again, and here we go. It's a little bit past 8 o'clock, but we're rocking and rolling. Broadcast is here for you. Obviously, I got some notes. We're going to put this to the side right here. But here's a couple of key points. Some of the things we always start with on the broadcast. Number one, we're about information, ideas, putting out thoughts, talking about the hard issues, and then let's have at it. So you can like, share, tag this, push it to a friend or family, you name it. Start a watch party. We are streaming live on Saulo on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube and Twitter, and we're trying to build this audience up. Oh, and we got some guests tonight on the Carpenter's Apprentice. We're streaming on their Facebook page. So look, share this, put the information out there. I've always said this. The number one thing we can ask for, I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on, what you believe, who you are, the color of your skin, your language, accent, where you come from, it doesn't make any difference. You have an opportunity to make decisions in our community and understand what's happening. And the only way to get there is facts. Tonight, we're on the road at DAB CDB shop here in District 1. I always talk everything about District 1. So we're going to have a visit here tonight. We're going to talk with the Carpenter's Apprentice. So I need you to share this every possible place. And by the way, we're going to have a little prize contest coming tonight too, so stay tuned for that. But the broadcast always begins with something a little bit fun because, look, man, we get into the tough subjects. And if we say some things, by the way, Saulo's here tonight. We've got Charlie working us. Tyler's at home with the family, so we're saying a prayer for him and his son. So, Tyler, we're thinking about you. But always do this on a broadcast. Before we get into something serious and in a discussion where me get pissed off because, look, snowflakes, triggered folks get a little bit mad. If you do, broadcast isn't for you. You got to be able to come in here and listen and disagree, get after it, and impart friends. But if you want to have a good time and follow the show, you know that we always begin with something a little bit funny. So I was thinking about many times in my life where I've taken a shot at something and it didn't always work out. Not that I just did that in a mayor's race about 6 months ago, but I got close enough, right? A 1-point deal. But look, I found this awesome video. Happened at the UTSA game. You've got to check this out. This is what happens when you think sometimes you're just not good enough to get it done, and then God intervenes on your side and takes care of it. So check out this fun video here. I'm looking at it on the screen. Check it out. This is awesome. Window World competition. Throw the ball through the window. No! Oh! Yeah. So look, you can come. Can we? Is it possible to play that just one last shot one more time? This is. Look at Rowdy the bird. I think that's the bird's name is Rowdy. I don't know, whatever. Bluebird. Here it comes. Boom, 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 boom. Aw, terrible throw. Boop. Sweet victory. So, look at the dude behind him right there. So, that is a contest from Window World. I'm looking at it right here on the computer. So, Window World said, hey, you throw this ball through the windowsill, and we'll put windows throughout your entire house. And unfortunately, that gentleman came up and tossed a ball that was embarrassingly short. Like, come on, man, you got to get it there. It's like you've been to the Spurs game, you see somebody shooting those free throws, and they miss it by about 3 feet. That's absolutely terrible, But no air balls, but this guy did an air ball with the football, but God intervened. I believe this divine intervention bounced that through and let him know that just because you may not be totally up to the task, fate sometimes intervenes and takes care of you. So we're only going to show one because we got a good show tonight, but I wanted to make sure we started with something fun and uplifting, man, because that is not good enough, and then you end up completely good enough. So free windows for the dude. We're proud of him. And, of course, at the UTSA football game, we're proud of our road runners. So as I mentioned, we're going to get into the thick of it. I've got notes and questions because I'm about to bring somebody out here, but want to also thank our sponsors. We've got some folks coming up on a sponsor run right here. Let's make sure we've got, I want to thank AAA Garcia Bell Bonds. This is my man right here. Okay, I'm telling you, man, this guy's the man. He offers I'm pretty sure a coupon code. If you go in there and say Brockhouse, you're getting, I don't know what percentage, I'm going to find out, off on your bail bonds fees, right? So there's a lot of bail bonds reforms going on in the world right now. It's a progressive talking point. So if you want to reduce bail bonds, you can. One way of doing it is by saying Brockhouse and DAB CBD. If you say those two things to Louis Garcia over there, AAA Garcia Bell Bonds, he can hook you up. Look, Louis and his team care about people, period. He's a great dude, and he's involved in the community, and he's helping us out here, make sure we can take this show on the road. So thank you to AAA Garcia Bell Bonds and our man at Speedy Salt as well. Tyler is running Speedy Salt, but look, he's involved in this, helping us out. So thank you for the sponsorships. These things always go a little bit of ways to help us put the show on. And we're going to do this, like I said in a couple previous episodes, we're going to take it on the road, make sure we're doing a show in every precinct, every district across the city, trying to shine a light on good things that are happening in San Antonio. So we also want to let you know that on November 8th, if we can put the graphic up, on an upcoming debate. So a special invitation for all candidates here. There is a meet and greet because we invite all candidates. This was sent to us to please show it tonight. That on the left is Colonel Allen West, and on the right is the state Republican chairman, James Dickey. They're having a debate here at the Restoring Church at 2 o'clock p.m., though. There's a candidate meet and greet. So any candidate can show up, visit with the Colonel and Mr. Dickey, the state party chairman. They asked us to show this up. We show everything, like I said at the beginning. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, if you are wearing an Adios Trump T-shirt. I had to say that. You're going to be surprised here in a minute. I segued into something a little controversial coming our way. But no matter who or what you are, we show everything up here. So November 8th, get up there at 2 o'clock if you're a candidate. If you know a candidate, and visit with Colonel West. They're going to debate over the future of the Republican Party in Texas, which I can tell you, the future of the Republican Party of Texas is it's a challenge right now. So Democrats are rising, progressive issues are rising, and Republicans are hanging on to a slim majority in the state house. And it's going to be 2020 will be a great political year that could see monumental changes across the entire system in San Antonio, in Austin, and all across Texas. So make it out there if you can. Should be a great debate. All right, here we go. So I might have to put my glasses on too from time to time. I'm at the CBD shop, by the way. I'm at Dab here. What's the address at Dab? Give it to me. Shoot me the address. Put the Dab address up there. Where are we at? All right, man. Give me a good line here. 105 Warren. So here's where we're at live tonight. We're going to bring on Gabe, the owner of Dab, here in a little bit because we're going to talk about CBD. I think it's a fantastic subject. We're going to get into it. I am a complete and total novice on it, but I went on a podcast last week and got introduced to it by a former city council candidate, a community Southside activist, just a great gentleman who's been doing good work across the city for a long time. Roy Aguillon and I, the gentleman's name is Roy Aguillon. Roy Aguillon and I have been friends for a few years, as far back as the time I used to work for another councilman here on the South Side. But Roy and I connected through different campaigns, and now he's out doing a couple of different shows, his own podcast, really. And this, I'm telling you, I want to call him a kid because he's kind of like younger brother age, but I just love this dude. And he brings an energy to politics, his part of town, the South Side, and he started a podcast called The Carpenter's Apprentice, and we're going to talk to him tonight and dig into who in the heck he is, what is he up to, and we're going to have a good old run with it. But I got to bring him on, and I got to tell you, this shirt is something else, so we're going to have a conversation. But I'm happy to have Roy Aguillon from The Carpenter's Apprentice. Let's bring him on and get into a conversation about politics, my man. All right, sit down. There we go. Okay.
So proud.
All right, he is wearing an Adios Trump shirt. Now, he's obviously wearing that in honor of Julian Castro, which I'm always proud to say is tanking in the Democratic National. So he may say Adios Trump. Oh, by the way, you did vote today, as did I.
I did.
Yeah, so we did our civic duty
Yes,
today.
sir.
We did the duty. All right. So we're coming to you live from Dab CBD here at Westwood. What's the full name? Let's see if we get it correct. Dab CBD Hemp Cafe. I'm going to give it due credit. 105 Warren in Heart of District 1. We're going to check him out here and talk to Gabe in a little bit, but I got to tell you how I ended up here in the first place, and that's with Roy Aguillon. So, Roy, you are killing it on your podcast.
Thank you.
In fact, I don't know what happened here, but I saw they even wrote a story about you in the paper.
Yeah, that was not my
you were in
podcast.
there, though.
Yes.
You were
yes.
Was that Get It?
Get Podcast. Yeah.
Get Podcast. So you do Get Podcast, too?
Yeah. Can I give him a plug?
Give him a shout out.
All right.
Give him a shout out.
At Get_Texas on Instagram and Get Texas on Facebook. So what we do there is we try to get people who aren't involved in politics involved in the political process. That's my spiel.
That was about the fastest spiel I think I've ever heard.
Hey,
Nothing in this
perfect.
show goes that fast. So we basically, we bullshit for an extended period of time. And excuse me, if my wife's probably watching, I'm sure I don't have my computer in front of me, but I know she logged on. And Salo's wife also logs on, and they give us grief later for saying, bad words. But I'm in a CBD shop, so I almost feel like I need to say a few bad words.
You have to, man.
And I feel like we should be listening to some music too, but we're really.
Hey, I'm down with that. You want to put on a little Snoop or something?
You got a little Tribe. How about Tribe Called Quest?
I'll take that.
When I'm in a CBD shop, I always like to listen to Tribe Called Quest.
Wow.
No,
Look
actually,
at you.
I actually just made that up.
Oh,
But
it.
if we had it and wouldn't get killed by Facebook for playing it, I would
yeah,
probably,
I know. The moment they heard it, you'd be off.
Facebook would shut us down. So, seriousness now. Let's get into it. So, I love what you said about Get Texas, right? And by the way, you had Julian Castro on that the other day, too.
Yes.
I don't know what's up with this, man. This is turning into a Julian Castro show. Don't get me started. But Carpenter's Apprentice. So, you started a podcast. Talk to me about what it means, who it is, what's going on with it, what brought you to it.
All right, now here's how it started. Let me tell you.
Here we go.
Here's the funny thing.
Oh, here we go. Go.
It started all as a cannabis rap review show. So on YouTube, if you go back and you look at our very first interview, or not, they weren't even interviews. It was me sitting there. I would roll the blunt, and I would tell you how much flour went in it. I would tell you how long it burned, how many people were in the rotation. And then at the end, I would give you a 1 through 5 leaf rating. So I would say, like, that's 5 leaves, if it was really good.
Give me a camera shot back on my face right now.
That is some older brother shit.
That's an older brother. That's an older brother look right there. Hold on. That's an older brother look. Here it comes at you right here. So, all right. Well, you started the Carpenter Apprentice. That's what brought it to you. But,
Yes.
dude, you're not only doing that on the show. You're you evolved. So talk to us about what you're doing and what it means to you and what the Carpenter's Apprentice is up to right now.
Well, I smoked everything they had at the shop that I could smoke. So I was like, I need to pull it back. And I wanted to, I was tired of just fucking around. I really wanted to do something that would be good for the community. So I asked my family if they wanted to do some version of that show with me. And I had to change the name of it because originally I was just uploading under Roy Aguion. And somebody commented and they said, "Hey, you dumb fuck, the cops got YouTube too."
Hey, you did say the F word. That my wife. I'm promise you. I'm going to watch out more.
So
I do have beeping. Well, there's no beeping. We are actually Facebook living. But we do have an older crowd that watches this.
Okay,
no.
I'll cool it.
I'm just saying, just in case my son Luke, he may be out of karate. What time is it? No, he's still in karate. Oh, you're safe, dude.
Okay,
you're safe.
great.
So I'm not going to get any trouble yet. But
beautiful. So then we
go for it.
I talked to the family. They sit it down, and actually, what they told me was, they said, we want to get like corporate jobs and stuff. We can't just be smoking family with you. So then we started doing the interviews, and we actually started by coming here to Dab. They had just opened, and I was like, maybe this is a nice segue because it's not quite weed, and you'll learn more about that tonight, but it's something adjacent to it, and I wanted to talk to somebody who was doing that. So we came over here, we did an interview, and then as time has gone on, we have turned into a show that's like, man, I think we're really focused on like the people. Our slogan is real people, real stories, real fun.
So, I think what's interesting, and when I first met you, it's actually before you ran for city council.
Yeah.
And so Roy ran for city council, was it 2013?
2013, yep.
Yeah, 2013. What was it, 15?
I can't
15.
remember.
It was 15 because I think it was like 4 years ago.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
It was
right.
2015.
Yeah,
somewhere
right.
there. 2013 and 2015, you ran for city council. And you were a young guy, man. You were out there getting after it. You challenged an incumbent, Rebecca Villagran, and you gave her a run for money, man. You were all over it. You had the firefighter endorsement. You were really working hard. And that is a far cry from who you are and what you are now.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious about is, and I think it's important because, look, you bring a generational thing to it. And whatever started the Carpenter's Apprentice, whatever got you into it, I mean, cool, man. Whether you're sitting there and however you began it. The fact is I see you doing things in the community with real stories and real people. So you're out there talking about things. And look, I got a place in my heart for the South Side. That's where my entire family is from. We grew up on Mission Road. The Arrochas down there, and my family's a Harlandale born and raised community.
So
there, South Side.
Yeah.
But,
I love that. I got you to do that shit.
I cruised military in my Dodge Aries K car. It was embarrassing, but I did it anyways.
Hey, it
was an 85 Aries K car. But talk to me, man, about the evolution. So, again, you got into politics. So what in the hell got you running in the first place? Why'd you do it? And then now you've come all the way to this other point now where you're doing podcasting, Get Texas. I mean, you're interacting with presidential candidates. I mean, I may think Julian's, worthless as a candidate, but he's running for president, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you've got a broad base. Talk to me about your evolution and what that's made you and some of the things that have changed for you the last few years.
Okay, so from politics to now, I had run for office and I lost. And when I lost, I was like devastated. I hated that I lost because I do not like losing. And it just rocked me, man. So I didn't even know what to do next. And how I came upon running in the first place, when I was about 13 years old, I was sitting down at a notebook and I was thinking of like goals for my life, what I wanted to do. So I wrote down 10 goals. And the very last thing on that list was to run for city council. So I had done everything else that I really had wanted to do. So I don't know how to explain it. You, I think, have the same problem where you're like a dog with a bone. You just can't stop until you get to that thing, right? Yeah. So once I got there and then it didn't work out, it was my first big L I had ever taken my whole life. So I just didn't know what to do next. And now I didn't have this list to guide me. So, idle hands are like the devil's plaything. And so that's when I really, I basically thought, for all these years I've been doing everything good. Why don't I try bad for a little bit? So that's what I did. I just went off the dark end, tried like a bunch of different crimes. I just won't go into details because I ain't trying to get screwed over, But
I think what's interesting, Roy, and I want people to know this. You can come on into politics, right? And you can get involved. And I think this is huge. And we'll take a minute. It's kind of like a little bit off script right here, but I want to hit this because you can get into politics and people are afraid or embarrassed to do things in politics because they may have made mistakes in their life. Something didn't go their way. They think they can't do it. And then they don't get involved, right? I mean, 87% of our community never votes. Yeah. You ran for office at a very young age. You did phenomenal. I remember that campaign. You did great. You ended up taking a loss, and I've taken a loss politically, just came off of one. And you can go one of two ways with it. You can go in the tank and give up on your community and never engage again. And you went through a period of that. And I want to ask you what's different about you now than back then. You still got that wild streak. Back then, people don't know this, but during that campaign, this was a wild man. This was an aggressive candidate, man. He was all over the place going for it. But one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on tonight is because I want people to get exposed to different things other than what the broadcast normally sees or does. We can go to talk to political candidates and we can bring stuffy people in, right? And we can talk about stats, figures, and statistics and then not really understand what's happening. And you're a different generation than me, but what I've always thought is great about us is that we can connect on the politics and we connect on the people issues. So I brought you here tonight because I wanted people to see what it was in the past and what you came to in the future and what you're doing with Carpenter's Apprentice, plus how you brought me into the CBD discussion with Dab. And we're going to have a good one on that one in a second. And by the way, we are going to have a contest. So if you want to put that sign up real quick here. Tonight, I want to mention this real quick before I bring you back in here. No, we're going to share and win a 3-pack of what do we call these? Professionally call them? Pre-rolls. All you have to do is share the video. If you share it and I catch you sharing it, we're going to draw you later and you're going to try some of this. So if you've got arthritis or any other series of old person ailments, like myself, we've got a 3-pack share going on here tonight. Share it. We'll choose you later on, and we're going to have a good old time with that here. So we're going to answer that. So we connect on the politics. And I want people to understand you're a different generation than myself, a lot of people who supported me or followed the podcast. And I think it's cool, man, that we can connect on it. So tell me a couple of things why you think people your age or just that group, and you got to listen to this. I want you to understand this because it's coming from somebody who's living it. Because we always say to ourselves, kids don't vote. Nobody gives a damn about it. They're not involved. So give me your speech outside of adios Trump, because we're going to get into that in a second. But give me your why, man. What's the engagement piece? You started early, then gave up, and now you're back into community involvement work, maybe not politics, but give me the talk about what you think the breakdown is, man.
Okay, just in terms of personal trajectory,
personal and how that relates to other people. Why aren't people your age group, why are they disengaged and why do they just dislike it? Like, it's almost an aversion to politics, and I'd love to hear your thought on it.
Well, I can speak from my experience, and I will say that when I was running for office and everything previous to that, I was trying to learn all those political lessons. You know, the stuff that the consultants tell you, or like you see on the TV that you're supposed to be like this. All the speeches are supposed to have like, and we're proud and strong and fearless, and that cadence and everything. Right. And so I was learning all of that, and that's the shit that turns off the young people, I think. And not just young people, but people in general, because you can look at the entire age breakdown, and you'll see that there's people who are not even registered to vote. Like when you're block walking and you go down a street, even if you made the list for the block walking, every registered voter, you're still only hitting like less than half of the houses. Mm-hmm. So that means in all the other half of the houses, those people don't even vote. So for me now, the good thing is after having like a good little run of 2 or 3 years of just screwing up, there was something that I did learn though, because like everyone in the underworld is not politically engaged. They don't care about politics. So it sounds strange, but even when I was doing bad stuff, I was learning from those people that were down there Why don't they care? And the same thing I would keep hearing is it doesn't matter what they say. So that's where I think a politician like you or AOC or even Julian, as long as you're talking about something that matters to you and you're strong in your convictions, people will gravitate to it, young or otherwise. And so all we want to see, or at least all I want to see, is people who actually care about what they're saying.
Dude, you couldn't put that any better, brother. So you started off a little crazy on me right there, a little dab crazy, but then you turned into absolutely eloquent on that portion on it. But you are, man. Like I've said all along, you know your business. You knew it when you were running 4 years ago. You know it now. You know your community. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to wrap up with that in a second. But I think it's important for people to hear that, right? Because we sit here and we really, one of the things that pisses me off, man, about politics is that we tend to trash those who don't vote, whether they're stupid, they're disengaged, they don't care, they're not smart enough. The whole world in politics today is about trashing those who don't vote. And instead of finding out, well, why in the heck aren't they coming in the first place? Because this is what I would tell you, and I think you hit the nail on the head. People don't vote. The first person you blame in that is the politician. Yes. You blame the system. Blame the system. Because the politician is turning all of them off. It's turning everybody off because everybody's full of it, it seems like. Now, some of us pride ourselves like going out there and telling whatever the hell's on my mind, I'll say it, but not all of them are like that. So I think you're absolutely right, brother. You said that they're not talking or speaking a language. It's formulaic, man. It's like a process.
Yeah.
And it never works. That's why the Carpenter Apprentice is unique to me. And you can catch it. So the Facebook page is TC.
So on Instagram, we're at TC.apprentice. And on Facebook, we're at The Carpenter's Apprentice.
Yeah. So just look this up because it's an eclectic mix of stuff, man. You're all over the place doing different things. But I think it's important. People need to hear that, right? Like you, and I think it's also important, the fact that people make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm a dude of mistakes. And if you don't believe me, you can Google it. And,
ditto, brother.
Brian Chasnoff, the wannabe reporter, has made his life over the last 6 months in trying to shame those who've made mistakes in their life or allegedly done whatever. Same thing with you. I mean, I know when you were in the campaign, things come up and after the fact, and the media tends to try to shred you and tear you apart for it, so people don't get engaged. So what advice would you give to some young folks out there, people who are watching right now, they're tuned in? I'm going to wrap up with one other question I think that's important for you. But What advice would you give to folks to get involved, man? Because it's tough, dude. And you said yourself, got involved straight away. Now you're back in it in your own way. And by the way, much more engaged and mature, right? Because you're knocking it cold. But talk to me. What would you tell somebody out there about getting involved?
Don't listen. Anybody who's in politics or working in politics and trying to tell you to do this, that, and the other, don't listen to them. They are full of it. Just be yourself. You don't even have to know every single aspect of a policy position, but you do need to know what guides you. What are your core principles? And let that be your North Star. Don't worry about anything else. Even if you've messed up in the past, just trying to keep it cool.
You almost went there.
I know. Even if you messed up in your past, Lord knows I thought putting myself out there would only allow for a bigger target for the arrows to come at. But even when they do, you know what's funny about it? Is it doesn't matter how much somebody talks shit about you. You still don't die.
Okay, that is absolutely true. That no one has been ridiculed more. I mean, I went through a tough mayoral campaign, right? Super close. But there were a lot of attacks in that. Yeah. And we talked about that on your show last week. But, you know, those attacks, you just keep coming, man. You don't give up. You don't stop.
Right.
You don't believe everything you read in the paper. Just as like you said, don't believe the politician. Don't believe the media.
Yeah.
Verify, right? At least get out there and verify. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying go verify and ask somebody what the hell they think.
Yes.
Right? Because you can judge an opinion real easily as a keyboard hero behind a computer, but sitting down with somebody like you and I are doing tonight is completely different. So, final question, man. You're a man on a mission.
Yeah.
Your mission is hilarious. It's all over the place. You brought me into your street. He lives on Bristol in the South Side. I'm not going to give you the exact address.
Thanks.
But you're the man, dude. Well, you can actually look it up on BCAT. So, I mean, all this is all this is readily available information. But you're killing it. In the South Side, special place for both of us in our hearts.
Sure.
It absolutely is, man. I love the South Side.
Me too.
What does the South Side mean to you? Give me your pitch. What does it mean, man?
Man,
because you're living there, dude. You went back home and stayed. So why?
Because it's God's country. Think about it though. When the missionaries came, they made most of the missions in our backyard, so they knew something was going on. I don't know what this. It's almost like realistic to think of the South Side so romantically, but I can even remember being in some place like Miami, which is fantastic, and I would still late at night lay down. And I would take like a mental drive down Military Drive, and I would see Bud Jones, and I would see Rockies.
He said mental drive. Yeah. He said he would be in Miami, and he'd take a mental drive down. You love the South Side.
I love the South Side.
He really loves the South Side.
Hey, they're my people, brother.
Hey, brother, my people too, man. We grew up right there at South Cross and Mission. So we were in the hood too, man. So thank you. I'm going to give you, I want you to give me one word. We're going to wrap you up, and then we're going to bring Gabe on because he's going to get some time. We got to talk some CBD. Yeah. We're going to talk some of these things that are happening here in the city. I'm going to give you 4 names, man, 5 names. I want you to tell me what you think. Give me a couple words. No more than 2 words. Trump.
Fun as heck.
Fun as heck. He screened that for me. I love it. Castro. Oh, here we go.
Neighborhood boy.
Neighborhood boy. Safe. I'm going to be nice right now because you got the T-shirt on. Beto.
We all agree.
No words. Look, I told you. We can agree in politics. We just agreed on Beto. There it was. And then I have Democrats and Republicans. What do you think about that?
Both corporatists.
Whoa. Yeah. Nice finish up 2 words. Brother, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, my friend.
I'm a little skeptical of the shirt you brought on, but that's okay.
But still, thank you for letting me
I appreciate you, man.
Hey,
Great
real quick,
stuff.
Thanks be to God for all. That's it.
All right, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. All right, man. Here we go. So we're going to bring great Gabe on, the owner of CBD, of Dab here, CBD and Hemp Shop. Look, no matter what you think about the show, these are the things we're going to start getting into. So we're going to start talking about the things that are happening across the city, what's happening at City Hall, and I've got some shots tonight for you, some things we're going to hit on after we finish up with Gabe. But we also got to get out there and talk about what in the hell's happening in our city, man. Who are those people out there that are knocking it cold, right? That are functioning in their own little world. You've got Roy Aguillon, the Carpenter's Apprentice. He's doing his thing on the South Side. Actually, he's doing it everywhere. And he's building a following, and he's trying to change things. We're going to talk about Gabe here in a little bit. Gabe is open to shop in District 1. He's working the CBD angle. 90% of those people have no idea in this city what CBD is. We're going to talk about that right now, and we're going to dig into some of those things and kind of define it so we can understand what he is as a small business owner, what CBD means to him, and some of the positives of this, right? CBD, Dab CBD Hemp Cafe on 105 Warren. Make it out here if you can after the show. Check him out. He'll be open tomorrow, and we'll talk about his hours and stuff here in a minute. But be about different things. We're going to take these things on the road and talk about San Antonio, man, because at the end of the day, we can argue at City Hall, and trust me, those 11 people down there, they don't represent the city. They may do it on paper, right, because they got elected by 10% of the voting public. But in reality, just like Roy said, all those doors they miss never get hit by City Hall unless they're raising your rates or your taxes, your SAWS fees, your CPS energy rates go up, whatever it is. That's your interaction with government, them taking more money from you and spending money on the things that don't matter. So at least don't matter to you and your neighborhood. So I think it's huge and important. We grab different people and we just try to figure it out. And then notice in that conversation with Roy, I was listening, and towards the end there, he really hit the nail on the head about why people aren't getting engaged. It's not your fault right off the bat. It's the fault of elected officials in the system that's not promoting what matters most to people, and that's what the broadcast is about, man. So we got to get there. We got to get there, and we're having fun doing it. Now, we are live from Dab CDB Hemp Cafe, and I am, the founders are Erica and Gabriel. So Gabe's here with me tonight. We're going to talk about this. I got to tell you, Carpenter's Apprentice and Roy brought me in for they were smoking some pre-rolls, and I joined them and did a podcast with them, Gabe, because I wanted to find out. He said, hey, man, we'll do the podcast together, but I want you to come in while I'm smoking some pre-rolls, some CBD. And, of course, the first question out of my 40-plus-year-old mind was, is this illegal? And then after I cleared several legality hurdles and medical hurdles, I attempted to smoke and it was actually, I did. I utilized some CBD products. It was absolutely fantastic. And so I started digging into some of the things about CBD, and here we are. It brings me to your shop tonight, 105 Warren, Dab CBD and Hemp Cafe. Brother, welcome, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
The broadcast show's streaming live, and we're here to learn about CBD, man. So the first question I want to ask you is, define CBD, man. Talk to the crowd here, because there's two things going on in the country right now that are catching big news: CBD and vaping.
Correct.
So vaping we'll catch later. Unfortunately, Tyler couldn't make it tonight to talk about it, but I want you to give us the rundown on CBD.
Okay.
Give it the high-level speech on it.
Basic information on CBD. What CBD is, it's a cannabidiol. It's one of the many compounds that makes up either the cannabis plant or the hemp plant. But since we're in Texas, it has to be the hemp plant. CBD could be used for inflammation. It could be used for stress and anxiety, just like I use it for stress and anxiety. But it essentially is an oil that's derived from the hemp plant, at least when it comes to Texas.
So let's be very clear here. We're going to be very clear because we got the giant dab in the back. Your business on Warren Street in the heart of District 1, right off of San Pedro.
Yes, sir.
Easy to find, exit 35.
Yes, sir.
San Pedro, come up, hang a left on Warren, and you're right here.
Correct.
And it is in District 1, Roberto Trevino's district.
Yes, sir.
Lo and behold. So CBD, marijuana. Give me the delineation. Talk to me about the difference.
When you're in Texas, don't think marijuana, don't think cannabis, think hemp. It's completely legal. It's completely non-psychoactive. So I know that's one of the things that a lot of people are turned off by CBD. One of the first questions is, does it get me high? No, it does not get you high. It is actually the anti-high. CBD can counteract the psychoactive feeling of THC. So if you're smoking it for one reason, or if you're smoking it to get high, it's going to completely do the opposite for you.
Yeah, man, I got to be honest with you. I was a little freaked out. Like I thought I was breaking some laws. I thought maybe it was getting a little crazy. First of all, it was a smoke-filled room, but
proud and common, I believe, are the words you used.
there is a podcast of that, and it was, I got to tell you. No, but once we dug into it, it was hilarious, and I started finding out, man, because there's a lot of literature out there about CBD. So when we 100%, so 100% is CBD is not marijuana.
Can be. If you're in Colorado or Oregon, but when it comes from Texas, we are working with the hemp plant.
Okay, so in Texas, it's the hemp plant, and CBD is not medical marijuana or any of those other things, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we want to make sure we draw that delineation. So if you have an interest in it, those two items are separate, but it is legal in Texas and CBD. And did you go through a licensing process, or how do these things work when you open a shop? What did you do?
I did not, but me and my wife, we did do some extra education. We got certified through the Trichome Institute in Denver, Colorado, just to bring that extra education to San Antonio. Even though we're bud tenders, we can't use it here in Texas. I just wanted to, once again, bring that extra education.
Okay, perfect. So you had to go, you went and studied up in Colorado. We all know Colorado is ground zero for the marijuana world right now, right? I mean,
yes, sir.
Everything goes in Colorado, correct?
Yes, yes sir.
All of it. So your products and everything. Talk to me a little bit about. I think it's important people know what CBD is and THC and that content stuff of CBD, because I want them to know too about the products you source. Because one of the things I think that's very important is if you purchase these types of products, the quality you're getting, right? Correct. Because you want to make sure you're purchasing quality products and you're not getting caught with somebody or something that will legitimately get you in trouble. So what's the CBD, THC type conversation with that?
Essentially, when you're looking at products for CBD, you want something that's going to be third-party tested. You're going to want something that has a little QR code that you get to scan it, and you're going to have all the lab reports just right there in your hands.
Lab reports?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
they give you lab reports for all of it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Just because people are iffy, and you need that assurance for people saying, no, this is third-party tested. This is not cannabis. This is a hemp product. But even that being said, there are two different types of CBD. Forget name brands, forget flavors. There is either going to be full spectrum or isolate. Isolate is something that is going to be zero THC. So my sheriff officers, my judges, my people who work for the city and drive public transportation, people who might randomly get drug tested, a CBD product, isolate, is probably the best product for them because there is zero THC. Now, if you do not have to worry about that, like me, I own my own business, having that trace amount of THC is actually really beneficial for you, because the CBD isolate is just the isolated compound CBD, just one part of the plant, while the plant is made up of over 100 different compounds. So a full spectrum CBD oil is going to consist of all that. So synergistically, that's going to work better for you.
I got to tell you, I do want to see a judge smoking a CBD. I want to see a judge walk out of Bexar County Courthouse and light up a blunt. Is that what they call it? It's a pre-roll. It's a pre-roll.
It's a hemp pre-roll.
I'm messing with you. broadcast world. I'm messing with you. I went a little bit back in the day right there. But I think a judge smoking CBD would be absolutely awesome with a politician, right there. Okay, man, perfect. I think that's interesting, dude, because so two types, the isolate, right, for people who are in a position where they may run into a drug test. So there can be trace amounts of THC in some products.
Correct.
So you want to be careful where you purchase your goods from, and you buy yours from a third-party source.
I do, yes, sir.
All right, perfect, man. That's good stuff. One of the things I noticed, and I think it's super cool, and you could talk about, we're going to talk about business, period. But I was going through and doing some research on him, right, because I wanted to get a little bit prepared for tonight. And then I noticed you're all about your family and the business, and you're a small business entrepreneur. Your Facebook page, go check it out. It's under, what's it under? Your Facebook page is
dabcbdhempcafe.com.
dabcbdhempcafe.com. Check it out. But I noticed your family's littered all over it, man. You got the wife, you got your son. Seems to be very important to you, man. So talk to me about small business ownership. And this is good stuff, people. It's not just about CBD. It's also about how we promote businesses in our community.
Correct.
So you're a small business family owner. Your wife's into it. She's a doctor of philosophy.
That she is.
Erica's a doctor of philosophy, which I think is completely amazing. So walk us through what the family business, how it started, and what brought you to District 1. I think it's a great story, man. Let us hear it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So as far as the small business goes, it all kind of started with that barber pole right there. So I come from a father who is an entrepreneur. He is a barber. So he's owned his own business for the last 30, 40 years. So seeing that's something I wanted to do for my kids. The freedom of getting off whenever you want, taking off for holidays, that is something I truly wanted to do. My wife believed in me. I did not think I was going to open up a CBD shop. I had tons of journals referencing to cafes and restaurants. But CBD is something that truly worked for me. I needed it because I've been planning and working events downtown for the last 16 years. I planned way more weddings than I ever planned to plan.
You're a wedding planner?
I didn't think I was, but 20 in the last 5 years, 13 in the last 2.
Oh, dude, you went from wedding planning to CBD. That's a normal transition.
High stress, high anxiety. Having 13 brides in 2 years, that kind of do it to you.
I've worked with a wedding planner before, and it is high stress. Yeah, so you went from that to the ultimate de-stressor of CBD.
Exactly.
So family's all in on the business together. How's it working for you, man? What do you think about it?
Family's all in, and we all use it for different reasons. For me, it was stress and anxiety. My stress and anxiety was so bad, I was physically waking up every morning with bad stomach cramps. So that's how I can relate to my guest. My wife can relate to our guest for acne. CBD is great for acne because CBD is good for inflammation. Acne is essentially inflammation of the skin. My son uses CBD in the drinks because he gets bad allergies. His allergies will make his eyes almost swell all the way closed. So that's inflammation of the eyes. So you can use it for different reasons.
So give me some examples of people who come in and purchase. I don't want their names. We're not going to out them on the Facebook live on the broadcast. We're going to run down a total list of CBD users in the city right now. I'm just kidding. Roll the list of people. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Why would some people use it? Talk to us about some of your clients who come in, what they're purchasing the product for. Because there's a lot of, man, if you look this up, you're going to find a lot of medicinal uses.
That you can.
So what's some things you normally see? Acne, you said, stress.
Acne, arthritis. Concentration. We have a lot of people from Incarnate Word, from Trinity, from San Antonio College. Since we set up in this location, we have a lot of people who use it just for that focus and clarity.
You're in a good location, brother.
That we are.
You picked a good location. So
I've been downtown for the last 16 years, and when I was thinking about opening up the CBD shop here, the only other one was 1604, a little further. So I wanted something central for San Antonio, so it's easily accessible to all of San Antonio.
You made it, man. You're in this is literally a classic shop. The shop itself, I wish we could have shown a picture of it from the outside, but it is looking like an old bungalow. This house got to be a few years old, right? A few decades old here.
That it is. It definitely has some stories.
So it's got a great touch, man. I think you've made a very inviting environment. It looks fantastic, right? People come in here. This is how I would imagine it, actually. This is very good. So the products you're selling, talk to us about real quick. Because we tried a couple of drinks before we started the show.
Somebody was asking if you had drinks.
So run down the drinks, man. They are, I got to tell you, you got to come out to 105 Warren. You got to come out and give it a shot because the drinks are insanely good. So
I
talk
appreciate
about
that.
your drinks. Not that I want to spend a lot of time on your coffee, but it was just that good.
So tons of different CB shops in San Antonio. Where I wanted to stand out is showcase what I do best, and I think I have great flavor profiles. As far as drinks go, I believe you like the Pineapple Express, which was a mixture of pineapple, orange juice, mint, lime, and coconut water.
It was awesome. it was really awesome, man, and I'm really chill right now too.
Good.
No, I'm just kidding. It was fantastic. Drink was good. So what other ones you got?
In addition to that, we also have our hibiscus nitro tea.
Nitro tea.
The flower that we use to put in our pre-rolls that you can smoke, we also use that as an herb, and we brew it as a tea. So I think towards the end of drinking it, about mid-palate, it was taste like sucking on a dry pre-roll or a pre-roll, and you could taste the herbiness.
Okay, what else, man? I tried a couple other ones.
Coffee. Our coffee is legit
the coffee.
as well.
You got to hit the coffee. So if you're a coffee drinker, who makes the coffee first off?
Coffee, I'm going to give a shout out to Puro Nitro Coffee.
Puro Nitro Coffee. We got to give him a shout out.
That's going to be Daniel Meza. This gentleman does an excellent job with coffee. He's what coffee is. What I do with juices, he does with coffee.
Oh yeah. So Puro Nitro Coffee. We got to find this guy because his coffee's excellent. But you're mixing it with
CBD.
So
CBD and coffee gives me all the properties of being awake, being alert, but I don't get the jitters like I used to. Back in the days, I couldn't drink coffee because, number one, I just go to the restroom too much. Number two, couldn't think straight, and I physically would get the jitters.
And it counterbalances a lot of those caffeine effects. So you get the effects of the caffeine, but not the side. You get the benefit of it, but not the side effect.
Exactly.
That's how it's helping you out.
Exactly.
And by the way, the coffee is absolutely awesome. And I'm not a coffee drinker, but I was drinking it, man. It is solid. It is really good. So
I appreciate that.
So the drinks, you got creams. You got lip balm. You got face cream. I'm looking at him. He's even got some candy back here from Halloween. I'm pretty sure he wasn't handing that out to the kids on October the 31st. I'm pretty sure Iron Man didn't get a CBD load of CBD Snickers. So, but no, man, fantastic. You got a wide range of products.
Appreciate it.
You got to make it out here. Look, people are curious about it because even when I initially did the podcast, people were like, "What are you doing, man? That's you look like you're smoking a joint." And I said,
"Correct,
my man, research it, right, and figure it out." Yeah, there's a big movement across the country. There's a movement in San Antonio. We had a state rep. Roland Gutierrez, who's pushing for the legalization of further legalization of marijuana. I think State Senator Jose Menendez was also looking into more medical marijuana stuff. So
correct.
I think the country's moving that direction anyways, and eventually it's going to get there, and there's going to be much more legalization and usage across the country. I mean, but from a CBD perspective, it's a completely different animal.
It is.
And it gives you an opportunity to receive the health benefits and some other things. When I started looking into it, I said, man, this is absolutely cool. And then when I researched your shop with your wife and your son and everything you're up to as a small business owner and entrepreneur, I wanted to come out here and do the show and hang out with you and just introduce people to you. And this is part of it, man. Look, you're a small business owner, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
If there's anything you could talk about and just wrap up about being a small business owner, I think the CBD stuff is fantastic. Google it. Research it for your own. See if there's some usage of it that you can find. And then get out and find a reputable dealer for it. And come out here and ask questions. And Gabe's going to take care of you, man. He gave me the education just in the 30 minutes here before we started the show. But real quick, I'm interested in wrapping up with small business ownership. And if you could offer advice to anybody else that's out there that's trying to get involved in the city, that works through the machine, that wants to start a small business, what would that be? Where would you tell them? What would be the most couple or two or three important things you can think of?
Highlight what you do best. For me, that's the culinary side. I love CBD. But I can also put CBD in my drinks. I can also help you out with coffee. I could put it in edibles. So for my older people who do not like to put the oils underneath their tongue or just not familiar with CBD, we could put CBD in their coffee. We could put CBD in an orange juice. Give grandma a Rice Krispie treat. She'll be fine.
He said, Grandma, eat this Rice Krispie treat.
And essentially,
it's good, Grandma. It's good. I promise you, everything's going to be great.
And essentially, that's what people are coming in for. We're here.
So you can infuse it or whatever into just about any food product.
That you can.
Okay, well that's good to know, especially for senior citizens and different folks that receive medicinal use of it. I mean, because I'm telling you, man, I'm anxious to try it out and give it a shot on some of the face creams and things like that. Because you said rosacea and other things, eczema, acne. So there's a lot of great stuff with it, man. So pay attention, do what you do best, right?
I appreciate it.
Source your products. And then you went after and started a business, man. So we're thrilled to be out here. We're thankful you let us come shoot here.
Thank you.
I think it's great, man, that we got introduced through Roy and we're able to talk about it because the folks who, I mean, we've got a lot of people following the broadcast, but not all of them get the exposure to these things. And, man, thank you for doing it in San Antonio. Thank you for doing it in District 1.
My pleasure.
And offering a product. I think people make a lot of sense. Remember, we're going to do a share contest here. Put that thing back up again. We're going to get a few pre-rolls, and we're going to auction them off here. And actually, it's not an auction. We're going to give them away, and we're going to have a contest. There it is. Win a 3-pack of pre-rolls. You can CBD yourself, because I'm going to pick one of you sharing people, and here we go. Brother, Gabe, I appreciate it. You did fantastic, man. Thank you for it. 105 Warren, Dab, CDB, and Hemp Cafe. Get out here and find them. Website, again?
dabcbdhempcafe.com.
Look them up. Facebook?
Dab CBD Hemp Cafe.
All right, you got it.
Instagram, Dab CBD Hemp Cafe.
Hey,
Super
man,
easy.
Instagram. It means, okay, he's Dab CBD Hemp Cafe everywhere. All right, man. We love you, brother. Thank you, man. We appreciate your time. All right. Man, we had a visitor just walk in, too. I'm going to say his name just because he was in the area, and he's legendary around here. Abe Juarez just walked in the house. He is out here. I'm sure he's probably... Wait, brother, where were you at? Abe's always at Augie's, and I didn't realize we're that close to Augie's right now. Of course, it is Rafael season 2. Abe is the prime minister for Thomas Aguillon. Who is what number Rafael is he? The 72nd Rafael. Thomas Aguillon, lifelong community person in San Antonio. I mean, you have to raise a lot of money and be highly involved in the community to be a Rafael. And they're giving back through the fiesta season, but they're already starting right now. They're doing the events, everything from poster award ceremonies to events, floats. They're showing up all over town. Thomas Aguillon and his wife, too, Melissa, have been all over local politics, local government, community service work. And Abe is blessed this year to be the prime minister, which is his number 2 man. Does that mean someday we're going to get to see you as Rafael here? We need to get that. We need to start that campaign on the broadcast. So Abe just walked in. It's good to see you, brother. But let's get into some of these hot shots. Right, we got a couple minutes here. I want to make sure we talk about some of the stuff that's happening at City Hall. And we're going to start with this. I don't have the pictures of them because we're mobile right now. We're trying to save bandwidth on the internet so we don't crash and burn. SAWS did adopt a rate increase today of 10%. So that was voted on today at SAWS. So anticipate your SAWS rates going up starting January 1 by 10% overall. And this is going to go up another 20 to 30% over the next 2 or 3 years. We've talked about this many times. My opinion, SAWS is out of control. When I was on the council, I voted against the SAWS rate increases because enough is enough. I mean, I think at some point you got to do more with less. And you got to understand who you are as a business. CPS Energy, coincidentally, hasn't had a rate increase in, I think, about 5 or 6 years. And they've been holding steady. So SAWS, for some reason, increases it. I got a problem with the huge bonuses for CPS Energy and SAWS. Those things are problems. But in my opinion, nobody gets a bonus if ratepayers are paying more every month. Nobody should get a bonus. Has all travel been removed? Has all expenditures been removed, like food and other things that are extra pieces at SAWS before you turn around and raise water rates? And part of the reason they're doing it is the Vista Ridge Water Project, which is a $2 to $3 billion water project. We're going to bring billions of gallons of water over time down from Burleson, Texas, all the way to San Antonio. And I'm understanding that program is running over budget. And it's running behind. So who's going to foot that bill? The taxpayer. And today was another vote by SAWS to raise your rates by 10%. There's a big news item too. Vision Quest. It's a East Side, the Second Baptist Church over there. I don't have the results of the final vote at zoning, but you may have seen this one in the paper. They were coming in and wanted to create a human services shelter to house migrant children at the church over on the East Side in District 2. And a lot of the community leaders were up in arms about it, right? They didn't want the church to renovate and act as a human services shelter. So the staff had recommended denial. We'll get an update on that one here as well. Election day was today. I don't know if you did it. I voted today. The new ballots are freaking cool. Like you actually get a ballot in your hand to verify. I'm not saying somebody was manipulating the ballots or ever has. I'm not going there. I'm just saying that it's awesome to have a copy of your ballot so you can verify what it looks like. So the new voting machines have been a wild success, I think. I think it worked well today. And then you can vote anywhere in the city now. You're not tied to just voting in your precinct. on Election Day. You can vote anywhere. So from my opinion, I think Bexar County elections had a good day today. So the program worked well. Everything seems to be well. Now we wait for the count. There's elections happening across the country, but today was a Texas constitutional amendment piece, and we talked a lot about those over the last few shows. Impeachment's ramping up. You got to love it. The president, I'm telling you, I tend to believe, I know we had an Adios Trump shirt here a little bit ago, but I tend to believe that the president is playing the Democrats, and he's just waiting to spring it on them. That's what I'm talking about. But today, look, Trump is polling well in battleground states, right? Impeachment is not doing well in battleground states. So if the president wins battleground states, look, this is going to be another electoral college win versus a popular vote win, right? So the electoral college is going to decide this. And the president is, frankly, polling well, and impeachment polling badly for the Democrats in states they need to win to make that happen. So today was an interesting part I wanted to bring up. The European envoy, Gordon Sondland, did revise his comments today and said the president did engage in a quid pro quo over Ukraine. But the president's position is going to continually be, and Kellyanne Conway talked about this today, her position was like that's literally their whole piece is, yeah, Joe Biden's done it. Barack Obama did it. Barack Obama gave $1 billion to the Iranians. I mean, you go down the list of things I think that this debate's going to turn into. But for right now, impeachment, it's 50-50 proposition. The polling has steadied on it. It's an even piece. But folks, remember, this is about battleground states. It's not about whether impeachment or Trump's doing well in California. Nobody cares about California, right? Well, we do care that we don't become San Antonio, but nobody cares what's happening in California. It's Wisconsin, it's Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida. Those are the places. Ohio. Those are the places that, frankly, Democrats are pissing people off in. And if they continue down that path, they're going to lose key states and put themselves in a tough piece. I also like to do my, I wish I had a graphic for it, but my Castro hospice update. When we started this sucker, I got to tell you, Castro kind of had a head cold. I compare his campaign to a medicine issue, right? Like a medical issue. When he started his campaign, he was a long shot. He gave it his best shot. Ended up getting a head cold, maybe some allergies. Then he got the flu, and then he had a heart attack, and now he's in hospice care, and someone's about to pull the plug on him, all right? Or someone's stepping on his oxygen line right now, and that campaign's DOA, but it's just a matter of when. He cried to get $800,000 in his bank account. He got it. And then today he proceeded to lay off staff in New Hampshire and South Carolina. Like, bro, what are you doing with the money? Right? So he got the cash to stay in the race, still polling at sub 1. In fact, I think he is 0 point something. I don't think it's even 0.5. But he's polling sub 1. He's hanging on for dear life. So we do hear the faint beep. 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 It's almost dead. But we're not quite there yet. So we do get to engage Julian Castro's comedy hour for the next month. And then, unfortunately, Beto O'Rourke did wish us goodbye. We miss you, Beto. We miss your inability to take our automatic rifles. We miss your Hispandering, where you successfully pandered to every Hispanic you possibly could, even though you're an Irishman. I do think you gave it your best, Robert Francis. And tonight I wanted to wish you farewell, my friend. Fairly well. Godspeed on your journey back to El Paso. I can't even do this with a straight face. Brother, you are gone. You ran a absolutely terrible campaign, spent $14 million doing it, embarrassed yourself by taking crazy positions, and I got to tell you, I tend to think, and I don't know what anybody else thinks about this, Texas dodged a bullet. No AR-15 joke, pun intended there. Texas dodged a bullet with this cat. If he would have been elected, I think we would have been in a lot of problems. And he got awful close, but he showed himself to be something in the presidential. I think it's really, in all honesty, just a quick political read on it, he changed who he was. He changed his brand, didn't continue it, and it didn't sell. And I think he cost himself. When you try to do that in politics, you try to become something you're not. To Roy's point earlier, you can kiss it goodbye. The public sees that. They already don't trust you. And then when you change your Whataburger, skateboarding, punk rock and band self and throw caution to the wind, and then you become a poll-tested, I got to talk about taking everybody's guns and all that other garbage, you've lost it. So, and that's exactly what happened. Bye-bye, Beto. It was nice knowing you, Robert Francis. We'll see you on the other side. We will now just wait for JC1 to do the same thing, and we're there. So, and finally, I'll leave it with the Broadway bike lanes. This one's important to Abe. Ron Nuremberg and a Broadway bike lane. So yesterday at a committee meeting, the mayor, Shirley Gonzalez, and Ana Sandoval lost again. They cannot force the bike lanes down Broadway, and they're not making it happen because they don't have the juice nor the votes to get there, even though the city staff has recommended the bike lanes can't go down Broadway. The mayor is all in to try to do this in spite of city staff recommendation. Shirley Gonzalez is helping him, but Shirley Gonzalez brings absolutely no votes. So it's Ron and Shirley, and I think Sandoval's helping out. But they're struggling on the Broadway bike lanes. The only reason I wanted to mention it was because that may eventually come to a zoning vote because Ron's going to try to do all he can to make it happen. But here's the dirty truth. Ron Nuremberg he doesn't have the juice to get it done. And I think he's beholden on this issue, and he's not letting it go. So I think it's going to cost him in the end. And if the council holds true to it, they can prove that, you know what, they're their own people, right? They're their own people, and they're not beholden to the mayor. And be where you want to be on the issue on bike lanes. We can get there in the future. But this is what I want to caution people on. And I think this is where the hypocrisy of Ron Nuremberg and people like him fall into place. And Sandoval. And same thing goes for Green New Deal. Same thing goes for bike lanes. Same thing goes for loving Broadway, decade of downtown, all this garbage, right? All these things that are happening right downtown. People across the rest of the city are getting ignored. So while the paper and Ron Nuremberg and this fight over Broadway bike lanes, a street that has received over $100 million of funding, there are streets in this city ain't seen a striping job done in decades. So I think it's misplaced priorities, and it's going to catch the mayor as he lost again today on it. But it's an interesting subject because, look, I ride a bike, and I can tell you, I learned about bike lanes in District 6. There are places that need bike lanes. People are in danger. They need new signage. They need striping. They need protected barriers. I get that. But how are we going to get this done? This is a fun one to watch to see where the mayor lands on it. And frankly, he's taken a loss on it. He needs to make some changes on it. But those are my hot shots, just some key issues that are happening. City Council's back tomorrow. They're back up again Thursday. Nothing huge on the vote block. Councilman Clayton Perry decided to stay as well in District 10. We talked about that last week when he called in. He stayed. So thank God we'll have a voice of opposition or difference on that council going forward. Next week, we're going to bring broadcast on the road again to a cafe in Precinct 2. We're going to talk to Raymond Ford. He's running for constable. And you know we love talking about constables because of that former constable Vela, who, by the way, Popcorn Hour is running for sheriff now. I got it. Next week we'll bring that awesome graphic of Constable Vela running for sheriff. That is going to be awesome to see how Javier Salazar handles that. That's going to be an amazing debate. I'm looking forward to that debate. Vela, Salazar. One of them doesn't know the job. The other one seems to have some problems keeping people in jail. That is going to be a fantastic debate. We're going to watch that one. So Vela, Salazar, be prepared. That's going to be a great race. But we're going to talk with him next week. We're going to about first off, who are constables? What do they do? What's their job role? Talked about their law enforcement training, the campaign itself, and the replacement that came in and is doing the job. So they're out there doing the work. We got to learn about it. We got to understand what constables are. We're going to visit with Raymond Ford. And any other candidate who wants to come on the broadcast, line up, let us know, bring it on. We've got a lot of stuff going. Again, the show has always been about fun. Normally I show 15 memes at the end, but again, because of our bandwidth issues and our inability, this place doesn't have Google Fiber. I'm assuming Google. I was a council member. I didn't have Google Fiber at my house. What's up with that? Do you have Google Fiber out here? All right, that's why we got bandwidth issues. So I can only show you one meme, and I chose this one. Homie did 25 years in the animal shelter. I don't know why I love that one. That dog is ripped, bro. Look at that. Reminds me of Abe's postings on Cane Corsos. Look at that dog. He did 25 years in the shelter. And he's on a MacBook. That dog right there is Googling protein shakes right now. So he's Googling workout regimen. He's on keto, or as we like to call it in South Texas, keto. I'm on the keto diet. Oh, by the way, a wrap up as we close it out. I have been successful on the keto diet, and I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm still on it. I think it's supposed to be my last week, but I have lost almost an entire child in weight, and it is amazing, but I'm not quite there like that amazing dog right there. Homie did 25 years in the animal shelter. He's ripped. That's my one meme for the day. Big shout out and thank you to Dab, CBD and Hemp Cafe, 105 Warren, The Carpenter's Apprentice. You can find him. Google The Carpenter's Apprentice. Roy Aguillon. Gabe, thank you for the time. Salo, as always. Abe, it's Fiesta season. pay attention. They'll come out and visit you literally anywhere in this city. So Thomas Aguillon, Ray Feo, 72nd Ray Feo, and Abe Wada as prime ministers out here. Charlie, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. Check with us next week. We'll be back Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. The broadcast about information. It's about arguing. It's about ideas. And then about going out and doing something about it. I don't care if you don't agree with me. Come on the show and let's talk about it. If you want to join me or visit, let's make it happen. I appreciate everything you do. Tonight was taking it on the road. We are going to do this more often to highlight the great stuff going on in San Antonio, the ideas that people are working to make it better. And then, of course, we're always going to make fun of City Hall, politics, and, of course, Julian Castro, because we can't help ourselves. Take it easy. This is the end. The broadcast is out from Dab CBD Hemp Cafe. We will see you next Tuesday. Later.